There are reality TV stars. And then there's Sonja Morgan, a woman who didn't just join high society. She married into it, branded it, and then refused to ever let it go. Because if you've watched The Real Housewives of New York City, you already know Sonja isn't just a cast member. She's an experience.
Oh, no, 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 no,
What's that?
Give me that. Give me that.
John Kennedy?
Cigarettes. I'll be right back. I gotta go to
John
the bathroom.
Kennedy?
I got you, babe. Hold on.
Madonna?
I gotta take a pee.
I party with John Kennedy and Madonna all the time.
Hit me with your...
We're talking about a woman who drops the Morgan letters into conversation like she personally drafted the Constitution.
You don't touch the f***ing Morgan!
Who has had a rotating cast of unpaid interns living in her townhouse like it's some kind of chaotic Upper East Side sorority.
Team Sonja is no less than 35 people. Most of them are coming from wealthy families because how could they afford to work with me? But I don't have time for an intern that just wants a free ride. I need to know that they really want to learn from my mistakes, frankly.
And who once tried to convince the world that a toaster oven was her ticket to a global empire.
I built a beautiful toaster oven with all the features, because that's what sells a toaster oven, the features, not a naked man on the side of a box, right?
Yes.
Okay, I did demonstrations across the country, and my updo and my smoky eye.
Yeah.
Had a great time doing it.
Yes.
I have a wonderful website sharing everything about it.
Yeah.
Why are they so confused about the toaster oven?
Can we buy the toaster ovens?
No, Ramona told you in this episode, my investor, he backed out.
And honestly, that's just the warm-up. Because somewhere between the champagne-fueled dinner parties, the yacht stories that may or may not change every season, and the legendary nights of partying that somehow end in broken furniture or questionable decisions, Sonja built an entire persona out of nostalgia, chaos, and pure, unfiltered delusion. But here's the thing, it works. She became one of the most iconic figures in Housewives history, not despite the mess, but because of it.
No! Quit the show right there.
So how did a former model from upstate New York transform into a self-proclaimed Morgan heiress, lose it all, and still manage to turn her life into one long, slightly unhinged performance? And more importantly, where does the act end and the real Sonja begin? Because this isn't just the story of fame. It's the story of identity, illusion, and one woman's lifelong commitment to never, ever letting the party or the Morgan name die.
No hurt in the dog. No hurt in the dog. Put the dog down.
Put the dog down.
Put the dog down.
Sonja,
Oh my
put
God,
the dog down.
Self? Deaf? Is it defecating? No, that's on your...
So let's start from the beginning, shall we? Because we all know the iconic Sonja Morgan from The Real Housewives of New York City, but what we don't really talk about is who she was before all of this. Sonja Morgan, or should we say Sonja Tremont, was born in 1963, which makes her in her early 60s today. And when she first appeared on RHONY back in 2010, she was in her mid to late 40s, already fully formed, already chaotic, and already delivering the kind of energy that most reality stars take years to perfect.
I have a taste for luxury, and luxury has a taste for me.
And let's be honest, she didn't just appear on the show, she carried it. For over a decade, across 11 seasons, Sonja consistently delivered the humor, the one-liners, the chaos, the delusion, all while somehow maintaining this oddly lovable, slightly unhinged persona that made her impossible to ignore. We mean, she threw a funeral for her dog and dispersed its ashes on the sidewalk.
Oh my God, he's on the sidewalk.
He's on the sidewalk. He's on the sidewalk. That happens. Oh, no.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay. Most women. It's all over me. I wore this to Prince Rainier's funeral.
But here's where things get interesting, because despite the way she talks about the Morgan family like it's her birthright, Sonja was not born into wealth, not even close. She grew up in Albany, New York, in a pretty normal, middle-class environment. No yachts, no European titles, no centuries-old family legacy, just a regular upbringing, which makes the way she later embodies old money energy even more fascinating. According to her Wikipedia page, her grandfather and father ran a lumber company in Averill Park, New York. She has also said that she was a cheerleading captain in high school, and she played basketball, which is honestly a little hard to imagine. After high school, Sonja did what a lot of ambitious young women do. She moved to New York City, chasing opportunity. She studied marketing at the Fashion Institute of Technology and started building a career in fashion and hospitality. And to be fair, she was working. She modeled. She worked in high-end retail. She moved through luxury spaces, building connections, understanding how that world operated. She wasn't born into elite society, but she was definitely learning how to fit into it. She also worked as a hostess and consultant in upscale restaurants and hotels, most notably the Plaza Hotel, placing herself right in the middle of New York's wealthiest social circles. And if there's one thing Sonja has always been good at, it's positioning. Because even back then, before the title, before the townhouse, before the interns and the toaster oven dreams, Sonja was already orbiting the life she wanted. She just hadn't married into it yet. And that's the key, because everything changes when Sonja Tremont becomes Sonja Morgan. And suddenly, the fantasy becomes real. The real shift in her lifestyle, the moment where everything actually changes, comes when she marries into what is basically American royalty, the Morgan family. And yes, that Morgan family. We're talking about the legacy of J.P. Morgan, the banking titan who quite literally helped shape modern American finance. His company, J.P. Morgan and Company, wasn't just a bank, it was power. We're talking railroads, corporations, and entire industries being controlled and stabilized under one name: old money. Real old money. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself, because it is the proof. So when Sonja Tremont meets John Adams Morgan in the 1990s, while working as a hostess at an Italian restaurant on Madison Avenue, by the way, it's not just a meet cute, it's a plot twist, because suddenly, the girl who was working her way through New York's social scene isn't just observing wealth anymore. She's stepping directly into it. The two marry in 1998. And just like that, Sonja Tremont becomes Sonja Morgan, a name she will, quite literally, never let go of. And this wasn't just a rich marriage, it was a lifestyle upgrade on another level, despite a whopping 33 years of age between John and Sonja. During their marriage, they spent much of their time at Caritas, a 3.5-acre private island off the coast of Stamford, Connecticut. Yes, a private island, because apparently Manhattan townhouses weren't exclusive enough. This was peak Sonja. Yachts, high society events, European connections, the kind of life she still references years later, like it happened yesterday. They also had one daughter together, Quincy Adams Morgan, tying Sonja permanently to the Morgan name in a way that goes far beyond just marriage. And for a while, she wasn't pretending to be part of that world. She was. But as we all know, in the world of Housewives, and honestly, in Sonja's life, what goes up very rarely stays there. Because of this marriage, it wasn't forever. And when it ended, everything started to unravel.
My divorce was high profile only because of the family name, being grandson of J.P. Morgan. But my ex-husband and I were very private. But as far as having a big family name like that and everybody wanting something from you, it was very hard. I had to figure things out rather quickly being a divorced single mom. So I got back to work. I need Patty to do this for me. She's an expert. She knows how hard it is.
In 2006, 8 years into the marriage, everything fell apart, and not in a quiet, we've grown apart kind of way, but in what would become one of the longest, messiest, and most financially chaotic divorces in Housewives adjacent history. Because this wasn't just a breakup. This was lawsuits, bankruptcy filings, disputed assets, prenuptial drama, and a series of decisions that, let's just say, did not age well. And at the center of it all, a movie deal. Yes, a movie. You see, at the time of the divorce, Sonja was involved in a film project through her company, Sonja Productions, LLC. The project was reportedly tied to John Travolta and backed by a production company called Hannibal Pictures. The movie was called Fast Flash to Bang Time. The plan was that both Sonja and John Adams Morgan would be involved financially, or should we say, her company was solely running on John's money, which means he was involved regardless. So, in the middle of the divorce chaos, Sonja had to pull out of the deal, and that decision, that's where everything really starts to unravel, because Hannibal Pictures did not just let it go. They sued in 2006, and after almost a year of legal battle, the court ruled against Sonja, leaving her responsible for a massive judgment reportedly around $7 million. Which brings us to 2011, the breaking point. On November 15th, 2011, Sonja Morgan filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And here's the part that feels almost too on the nose to be real. This is happening at the exact same time she's becoming a full-blown reality TV personality on The Real Housewives of New York City. So while audiences are watching her host dinner parties, flirt, and casually mention the Morgan name every 5 minutes, behind the scenes, she's dealing with nearly $20 million in debt. Let's break that down. According to the Wall Street Journal, at the time of her filing, Sonja reportedly had around $13.5 million in assets and nearly $20 million in liabilities, which is not just a gap, it's a crater. And a huge part of that financial strain, the townhouse.
Hello,
Hello, everyone. Come on in. I'm Sonja Morgan.
This is the first floor of the house. This would be the parlor or the great room.
The infamous Upper East Side townhouse is arguably one of the most iconic side characters in RHONY history. This wasn't just a home, it was a symbol of status, of identity, of the life she refused to let go of, but maintaining that lifestyle came at a cost, a very real, very expensive cost. We're talking staff, maintenance, property taxes, endless attempts to renovate, rent, or sell it. At one point, she spent years trying to offload it, dropping the price again and again. Now, to be fair, the townhouse wasn't her only asset. During and after the divorce, Sonja also had a French chateau and a Colorado ski house, both of which were eventually sold off to help repay creditors. But even that didn't come without drama, because the divorce from John Adams Morgan didn't just end, it lingered. There were continued disputes over money, property, and who owed what to whom. At one point, John claimed partial ownership of the Colorado property and alleged Sonja owed him millions. Sonja, on the other hand, claimed he owed her around $3 million from the divorce settlement that was never paid. So basically, everyone owed everyone something, and no one agreed on anything. To manage the chaos, the court appointed a trustee to take control of Sonja's finances during bankruptcy, which means, for a period of time, she didn't even have full control over her own money. Imagine going from private islands in high society to needing court approval for financial decisions. And on top of that, creditors were pushing hard for her to sell the townhouse, but Sonja refused. At the time, she said she wanted to keep it because she was raising her daughter there, and emotionally, that makes sense. Financially, maybe not the best move, because years later, even she would admit holding on to that house for so long was a mistake.
It's such a
Relief.
I need to hold her hand.
relieved.
Okay.
She's lived the pain and the post-traumatic stress with me. Every time I would list it, I would rent it because I have to pay the bills every month. This time I said, auction it. I want out. I want a finite time. I am out. I sold the furniture. I'm feeling much lighter, and I'm figuring I'm going to eat more, sleep more, and get laid more.
And all of this, the lawsuits, the debt, the ex-husband disputes, the pressure, the financial collapse, is happening while she's filming a reality show where she's expected to be funny, charming, and effortlessly glamorous.
Those passes. But a woman cannot find herself in a pickle.
So for those of you who didn't fully get it, here's a quick recap. In 2006, Sonja Morgan and John Adams Morgan got divorced, and because of that, Sonja's company simply didn't have the money to fund the movie anymore, which led to the lawsuit against her. The judgment rules against Sonja for around $7 million, and she ends up filing for bankruptcy. Her ex-husband, John, then files claims in her bankruptcy case, trying to stop her from selling properties to pay off creditors, while also claiming she owes him about $6 million. Sonja, on the other hand, reminds him of the $3 million divorce settlement she says he never paid, and he basically admits it, but says he won't pay. Eventually, the court dismisses John's claims, and both properties are sold to repay creditors. In the end, Sonja pays $6.95 million to Hannibal Pictures after the failed movie project, while American Home Mortgage Servicing receives $600,000 and the deed to her $5.8 million Telluride home, marking a major financial downfall. Now, that being said, let's talk about Sonja on the show. From everything we've covered so far, you've probably already guessed she was completely unhinged, but in the most iconic way possible. She maintained this constant mix of sarcasm, charm, and chaos throughout her entire run on The Real Housewives of New York City. And honestly, she was a fan favorite for a reason, because if we started listing every absurd moment Sonja Morgan gave us, we would be here forever. But just to name a few, she washed her panties in a bidet.
Really fresh. This is looking old. This looks dated. And then, of course, I'm a Francophile, and he's French, so peony soup.
She kissed a random woman in a club. She gave bizarre, iconic speeches at all times. She was drunk. Well, let's say a concerning percentage of the time.
I'm seeing double bill and single.
Literally like trying to put a bikini on a piece of spaghetti.
I don't think it goes like that.
Such a girl, like
Baby, your puppy is missing.
I'd say about me that I was the gangster with the blonde hair, blue eye. This girl is like, she's another level.
And to top it off, she once stripped down in Mexico and jumped into a pool.
No, no, no,
What's
no.
that?
Give me that. Give me that. Oh, look at Sonja now. Oh, no.
Sonja did not like shave her bush.
tequila.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and she washed her sex toys in a dishwasher. Yeah, that should give you a pretty clear idea of the energy we're dealing with here. And the funniest part? While all of this was happening, she was still presenting herself as this ultra-glamorous, old-money, extravagant socialite. Meanwhile, reality was very different. Her townhouse, which became basically a character of its own on the show, was often the center of jokes because it was clearly falling apart. At one point, her ice machine was reportedly producing brown ice due to rusty pipes. Yes, brown ice.
Sonja, Kimberly N wants to know if your ice is still brown.
No, I had that fixed for Tinsley. Yeah, I didn't mind it, but yeah, I fixed that.
Even her castmates started jokingly calling her garden area the Grey Gardens, referencing the HBO documentary about decaying wealthy estates, because it had that exact kind of glamorous but deteriorating energy. And while the bankruptcy case was unfolding behind the scenes, things were still moving legally. In 2014, the bankruptcy trustee sold her French chateau for about $5.7 million, and by 2015, the bankruptcy case was finally settled after years of legal back and forth, which left Sonja with one major ongoing problem: the townhouse. And honestly, the history of that house is almost funnier than anything else. For over a decade, she tried to sell it at every possible price point. Around 2008, she listed it for $12 million. In 2010, it dropped to $8.2 million. Later, it went as low as $7 million. Still no buyers. By 2018, she was renting it out for around $32,000 a month while living in an apartment at Columbus Circle. But when COVID hit, she lost tenants and ended up moving back in. In 2019, after some renovations, she tried again, this time around $10 million, even advertising that it came with a full staff, including butlers, a driver, gardener, masseuse, personal trainer, and chef. Still, no buyers. Even COVID-era discounts didn't work. So eventually, she did the only thing left, an online auction in 2024, and that's when the iconic townhouse finally sold for $4.45 million. Yes, a nearly $9 to $10 million property sold for less than half its expected value. Even her closest friends seemed shocked that it went that low.
And we know you're great friends with Sonja Morgan. Do you think she got a good deal at the auction for her townhouse?
Hello, everyone. Come on in. I'm Sonja Morgan. When you first walk in the door on the first floor, you see the garden immediately.
What did it close for? 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think it was around that.
I think they could have done better.
Yeah.
I think they could have done better, but I was there a couple weeks before it sold, saying goodbye to it, so.
And honestly, that house really did become a symbol of her entire financial story. The maintenance alone was something she simply couldn't keep up with, despite every attempt. Toaster oven business ideas, fashion lines, reality TV income. Nothing fully covered it. In July 2024, she posted a video online, basically announcing the end of an era. She was finally moving out. Shortly after, she moved into a waterfront condo in West Palm Beach, Florida. And perhaps the most ironic ending of all? The townhouse was eventually converted into a luxury, sober living facility, which, considering Sonja's very public struggles with drinking on the show, feels almost too symbolic to be real. A full circle moment, just not the kind anyone would have predicted.
I'm so happy to see you, Sonja.
And don't touch the Morgan letters!
Sonja, I heard that they turned the townhouse into a sober living facility. That seems kind of ironic.
I know. So somebody came to me when I was renting it out and they said, we're gonna rent it as a halfway house. I said, my neighbors will not like it. No way. So I sold it to this guy that said him and his wife were gonna live in the house. Wasn't him, it was his father, and the father rented it out to this, to make my friends are not happy.
More recently, Sonja Morgan has still been doing what she does best, staying in the headlines. One of the more recent moments that went viral involved her reportedly refusing to pay a $1,000 bill at a restaurant in 2025 because she assumed it was already covered. And guess what? She got banned from the place.
Sonja Morgan, former housewife of New York, is still out in these New York streets terrorizing service staff. She has been banned from NoHo hotspot Tucci. Let me paint a picture. It's a Saturday night. She's booked a table for 3. She arrives with 5. They rack up a $1,000 bill. When they present said bill, Sonja throws a fit. Can't believe it's not comped. I'm a celebrity. She then calls the owner, Max Tucci, and she's like, how dare you charge me? She's demanding a comp because, among other things, I'm a single mother. She refused to pay. She did end up paying on Monday, yesterday, but she's no longer welcome at Tucci. I just need to know how many other restaurants Sonja has done this in, because you know it's not just this one. Page 6 confirmed that she had in fact been comped a time or two at Tucci and was clearly expecting that to be the norm. So you know there's other places she's going to, like, what do you mean I'm getting a bell? Has anyone seen Sonja out in the wild? Recently, I'm curious.
But even beyond that, she hasn't exactly slowed down. She's continued making appearances, doing club and live events, and staying active in the reality TV and pop culture space, leaning fully into her iconic chaos brand that fans have come to know from the Real Housewives of New York City. At this point, Sonja isn't just a former housewife. She's kind of a permanent pop culture personality, still entertaining, still unpredictable, and still very much living in her own very Sonja-style universe.